Hello, hello, I'm Rangru.
And I'm Graham.
We're here today for another 1v1 from the Wargame Bootcamp Discord. Hardened Tournament Finals. We've seen Steve and Grand before, but what are they playing today on Nuclear Interest Coming, Graham?
So Grand is playing German Dutch Mechanized, and then we have Steve here playing as I almost said Eurocore. They're playing on I'm gonna say everything. It's Entente General.
Mm-hmm. It's
Right, it's
just,
Entente.
uh,
Yeah. No, wait, no. What's
Dutch German. Let's just say
Yes.
Dutch German.
No. He's the Warsaw Pact.
Oh, I
Steve
got it
Rapper's the
bloody
Warsaw Pact.
confused. We're off to a great start here,
Yeah.
gentlemen. Especially in the air, as we're seeing the MiG-29 going in hot against his F-104.
Yeah, and so that's actually the Polish MiG-29. We talked about that before the cast. It doesn't matter though, because that's an F-104G. That thing's basically a death trap even in real life. So the MiG-29 comes in, cleans up. But the MLU's a different beast right there. You can see AMRAM's coming out. He might get the first two. All
Oh,
that
there we go.
fourth missile might get him. Yep, and it will. Okay, so the MiG-29 does go down there. It kills the F-104, but honestly, not really worth. Not really worth for the F-104 to lose his only one of because he only has the two cards of the Polish MiG-29s.
Yeah, you don't want to be losing out in the trade. We've seen the Sokol as well, man, to get a few stunning hits on, well, it's rather aggressive push onto India.
Yeah, it looks like Grand's basically going for a knockout blow here. He wants to take the 2-point sector or at least contest it. Now, on the flip side, he has legitimately nothing in Bravo. And so if Steve is smart, I think if Steve really feels that present, he should go ahead and at least probe Bravo with some of these helicopters and just see kind of what he runs into because there is legitimately nothing. At the same time, Grand is making a really large mechanized push here, and these moat shoots, and I'm not sure how long they'll be able to hold that off.
Yeah, that's a lot of angry, well, German and Dutch guys coming on through the escort, is escorting some vehicles out of the battlefield
Oh,
forcefully.
he left the guns on the CV,
Oh,
the infantry CV inside Bravo. So the Sokol here is gonna be able to turn. Oh, but he's shooting his rockets at the YPR, the transport there.
oh
So he will go
no!
down. But he knows where that CV's at, and he also knows there's nothing in front of him. He'll actually be able to get into Alpha here and set up defensive positions off the get-go ring.
Yeah, so we're seeing, like, bit of a trade here down south, going to Mr. Steve and Grand pushing up north. So it probably seems like it's going to be a race on who can secure the other person's two-pointer.
Yeah, it looks like the race is currently on right here. So this is some Dutch infantry coming out. There looks like we have Conquerors. Yeah, some Pehotes are down there, down south, kind of set up there. So Delta is actually wide open. Steve not sending anything to kind of cover it. So we'll see if that ends up being a factor later on. But this is a pretty large push by Grand going into India here, Rang, and there's almost nothing really to stop it but this Conquerors team and an Alpha player squad.
Yeah, and that escort is absolutely dominating the battlefield. With no anti-air nearby, he's pretty much good to go. He's pretty much at the same level of Apache rockets and Warno.
Yes, yeah, it looks like it right here. It's just Eugen's probably straight ported it over. Though actually that took some damage from the infantry squad, so it can't be the same.
Yeah, that transaxle getting buggered, yeah. Had to run
Oh,
the critical hit actually matter.
the Grenadiers were actually killing their transport there. It looks like by the Conquerors, so they're caught in the open. They won't be able to get into Delta when we were watching the hot escort action.
Oh.
So, I mean, honestly, how does this work out? I think if they each ceded each other's zones to them, I think Raptors still has the points, right?
Yeah, because you got, if
Because
he
of
can secure Delta, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Whereas
he's in a slightly better position.
Yeah, Raptor has called some units out though. Honestly, there's no way he's taking this back anytime soon. He needs artillery. He needs to establish air control. He needs a mortar to smoke. He might as well just defend the approach to Hotel and just go all in on the south.
Yeah, because if you can especially knock out, what's it called, Bravo, that's pretty much good game. Because the problem with India is you can't really spread your range from India. I mean, you could try to go for Hotel, but considering that's a spawn zone and there's bridges, you don't really want to be attacking across yet.
Yeah, I actually really don't like this move here by Raptor. It's playing exactly into what Grand wants. That C-72 M1M annihilated right there by the Leopard 2s on the road. These BMP-1s got to get pulled back. I think you just set some conquer teams up, maybe get some kind of anti-air defense, and then you just funnel everything over to Alpha Charlie Delta.
Yeah, you just have to cut your losses at India at this point. Just make sure you have something in Delta to secure the flank and I mean, he can just play the south, focus on the south, and he's good to go.
Yeah, and then if Grand wants to try and suicide across those two bridges, you kind of let him have that, right? Maybe pull your CV back a little further just in case something gets through. But yeah, in all honesty, losing India does suck, right? There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. But his opponent has lost alpha, so it kind of definitely plays into each other. And the fact that he's not being aggressive, I think, down the south is giving Grand an opportunity here to really exploit this.
Yeah, he's being able to actually set up a decent front line of units. So I think he's going to... I hope he doesn't yeet these units into the fight right now. He needs to build up some more forces to actually contest back into alpha.
Yeah, we see a 4-stack by there in the AMXs, so some more Dutch infantry going to come out here. I think he's looking to make a move, though there is a decent amount. Oh, the MLU flying right over the Strop 2 and the LCRs. He gets smacked around a little bit. He's going to want to evac that, though it's going to make another pass right over it. He's kind of playing with fire there. Yeah, Igla out and goes down. Wow, big pick.
Some airland battle vibes here of the Strop 2 actually being able to shoot stuff down.
Yeah, huge airland battle vibes. And honestly, that's the most expensive unit to go down there at the start of the game. The MLU did kill a MiG-29 earlier, so it's not like he didn't accomplish anything. But it's kind of a, it's a pretty big multi-role fighter, and to lose it like that sucks.
Yeah, he definitely could have been a bit more past Rivet. But he's, continuing to build up a decent force into Alpha. I believe his are just a bunch of reserve troops in the AMXs. Just pretty much just like the French range, actually.
Yes, isn't the exact same? Don't they have the 3 frontal armor as well? Yeah, I think it's the exact same transport. Just
Transport's the same, the infantry's a bit different.
Yeah, just the infantry's different. So we bring out more of those AMX 13s here. Now, he has an opportunity to get some raw numbers, but even then, I still think he needs a mortar or something. Maybe some armor outside the AMX 13s, because that's 30 of the Pahotas, and they can be, but they walk down the open there, the Leopard getting a nice snipe on them, taking out 7 HP. Yeah, it's a good little hit for him. Those Pahotas can be a pain trying to push into.
Yeah, I forgot they do have that. Rather than nasty recoilless rifle.
Yeah, they get the recoilless rifle, so they can make him a little bit, a little hard to get out of like an entrenched town that's LCRs, Outclair. Though Steve probably might want to reinforce that a little bit. We do see some BMPs, which were going to go on an ill-fated ride into India. They thankfully were diverted. And so they saw their Czech T-72 comrade get annihilated on the road, and they said, I didn't want any of that. And so now they're going to redeploy.
I like what Grand is doing just southeast of India, of the recon team and the Milan 2. I think at Milan 2 might have range on the bridge, which you could get some cheeky snipes here.
I really wish you had like a proper line of sight tool here and would really be able to tell. I don't know. I think it might be just far enough away.
Mm-hmm.
And Lansu's 2450. I don't know. I think it's a little far away, but it's a cool move.
Yeah. Even if you can just snipe some stuff going towards the Delta area, it's just very weird seeing this tip of the map actually have units in it.
Yeah, we see the fight is getting a little bit more intense here. In Alpha, the Alpha squad got beat up there by the AMX 13s, which are actually really nasty with the 3. They get the 3 HE right there, and the auto loader for 30 points. So they're great fire support in these types of engagements. The reserve infantry's been split up. The Pahota's getting beat up as well from the Martyr 1s. So this infantry should get into the forest, but there is an Mi-34, there are BMPs, and a T-72 coming up. Mi-35, excuse me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the fire support here from Steve has been a big lackluster in this initial show, but I think his heavy armor and, flying heavy tank should be enough to clear this up.
There is a Stinger squad, though. It's the Fliegerfaust. For the Warno watchers, that's not a Red Eye. That is an actual Stinger squad right there. They did have those. So the Mi-35 does need to be careful. An escort here has been pulled up as well. Oh, but it goes right in range of the Stinger right there. One hit out, already down to half health here. Steve overextending with his helicopter. Oh, but it gets a snipe. Oh, but then it still goes down. So Stinger team, honestly, worth it right there.
Yeah, it's quite funny seeing the difference between Warno and Wargame here, where how even the Hind is extremely vulnerable to anti-aircraft missiles, because, spoiler alert, helicopters and planes are not exactly tanky.
Yeah, even the flying tank is susceptible to the Stinger right there, and it's meant to punish the overextension of the helicopter, right? Like, Steve really has no idea what's in that forest line, and by putting the Mi-35 so aggressively, it opens him up to being countered by a man-pad team. And here, these reserve infantry are pushing the town with Panzer Grenadier support, but the LCR has been holding on just long enough, I think, for the Moat Schutzen to get into this town. But these BMP-1s and the T-72s rank need to come up and clear off those vehicles, or the Moat Schutzen will die, just like their Special Forces counterparts.
Oh, the escort coming in clutch here before he can get into the building. Good God.
Yeah, really nasty shots there by the escort. Those Hydra rockets just tearing those poor East German infantry apart. The AA pretty far back there in the forest line. And so, yeah, Grand's going to get a foothold here.
Yeah, and that's going to be, I think, huge for him. Because then he can start getting reinforcements into Alpha. He has really good fire support. I know, I think at this point, Steve must be a little bit shook up. He's lost India. He's starting to lose his advantage down in Alpha. He really can't afford to lose any more territory.
No, he needs to lock this down here. Maybe getting the BP, ZV, that's the 30 mil recon, I think BMP. And he might need to come down here maybe and try and, pressure, because these Marder 1s and Panzergrenadiers, if they get into the other portion of the town, I think it's pretty much over for Alpha for the rest of the game here. It's just a lot. There's going to be a lot of infantry to push out. Steve hasn't done a good job of dealing with the fire support of Grand and has allowed the, kind of lack. Infantry is, I wouldn't say it's lackluster, but he definitely had better quality infantry to kind of get beat there.
Yeah, it's East German fanboys. It's more shooting or bust whenever you go Eastern Bloc.
Oh, absolutely. And you see some Dutch reserve infantry going against, Pehota and Moat Shoots and LCR. I mean, they should win that 9 out of 10 times. But the Marder 1s and the AMX-13s really did some work here. This T-72 is kind of being annoying, but these AMX-13s are actually getting pretty close. Oh, and the Leopard 1 actually getting a nice shot into it over this. The 65 point. Oh, and the Peace Ride comes in. Big pick right there, getting a kill on that T-72 M1M.
Huge pick. He does have a second one being brought out, but he's kind of running into the problem now where you only have a few tanks. You can only provide so much fire support because, when blowing up light tanks and infantry, a tank is a tank. In the end of the day, his T-72 can pick off the Leopards, but you need lots of cheap tanks to deal with the Marders.
Yeah, and honestly, I wish he had brought these base T-72s up earlier instead of the T-72 M1Ms. He really doesn't need the 90.1. It's just, he needs it for CQC, supporting his infantry. Though there are Leopard 2A1s now entering, but he doesn't know that, right? If the past 10 minutes has been purely infantry light vehicles, and I think 4 T-72s might have been better than just 1 or 2 T-72 M1Ms.
Yes. I think Steve, he is building up a decent infantry force again. He's got another card of Maltusians, but I do not like where he's pushing him. He really should try to get him into the center forest of Alpha, fight the infantry fight in the forest and clear it out, but instead, he's going for a cavalry charge down the road into the unknown.
Yeah, and they're going to immediately get sniped here. Okay, he actually backs that Leopard up. He's a little bit scared of that T-72. But I mean, he needs to be careful of the T-72 because there's a Milan team out. We saw it just fire and immediately lose its target. B1 BMP being obliterated right there. More infantry getting hit here by these AMX-13s and the other Leopard. And this attack is already doomed.
Yeah, the Maltusians has taken way too many casualties. That Milan team, perfect spot, gets the snipe. Yeah. And I really love the Micro Grand is doing here. He's poking out, getting a few shots in, using the stealth of the recon units to his advantage. And yeah, those Maltusians are mod gone.
Yeah, this is actually the Warsaw Pact here getting kind of a beat down by the Dutch-German Corps. These Moat shoots and killed to a man out here in the open, never even getting into the forest line. And like you said, Rang, didn't like the kind of cowboy style. We're just going to charge right down the road here, and then they're forced to dismount right there in the open. There's no mortar for smoke. There's no air support whatsoever. I mean, there's an MI in there now. No recon. These Marder 1s. They're doing it cowboy style too, so BVP might be able to get one. Oh, it doesn't get one because the dual Marder 2. Yeah, so now Delta is lost to him, which he didn't really have it, but it's not looking good here for Steve.
Not at all. Not at all. I mean, if he had those Maltusians still alive, those guys with those 2 T-72 base through the forest, he could probably at least clear up the center part of Alpha, and that pretty much give you a good foothold to hold it, and then also clear up the north and southern end.
Yeah, and we see the Marder 1s up there in the north of Delta. They're going to come down. He actually probably should have put the infantry in with them because he could have been super annoying dropping them in Delta. But these BMP 1s will engage here, but they're missing. You don't want them firing on the move like this. The Martyrs honestly might be able to get them in transport. Okay, no, he is able to unload. But maybe one showing off why is it 10 points? That accuracy right there.
Now, truly the philosophical debate. Do you take the 73mm? Okay.
Oh, but then they get double kill there.
Yeah.
So
That's the debate. 73
yeah.
mil range.
MiG-29 actually up in the open here, trying to push back that piece right. He does get one shot into it, gets a hit. We'll see the other one hit connects, and it does. Nice pick there for Steve. The problem for him, though, is the capping of India is going to continue this +2 tick for the near future and put him into a hole. And with the loss of Alpha, that means the game it looks really hard for him to see a path of victory unless he clears out this Alpha point.
Yeah, and we're already seeing Grand is pushing out of Alpha here with his recon tanks, and he just hit the soft underbelly. He's going to get into the anti-aircraft net and, well, kill them.
Yeah, this OSA team, they're flipping out on the radio. They're calling for help right now. The Salamandra, hey, he's been, they reached out to him, but it's going to be a minute for him. And these recon tanks, they're on the hunt right now. And actually, there's nothing in front of them but the CV and Charlie.
Yeah, and just Alpha's so well built up here. It's this perfect amount of fire support. He's got the heavy tanks with the Leopard 2s, good infantry in front, cheap IFVs for cheap fire support. He's got a very good mix of forces here, and he's even going to be bringing up a CV soon to capture it.
Yeah, he's going to put him probably in a dominant position right there. We do see the Salamandra called up, but there is a Stinger team. So while it might push back this Leopard 1... Oh, actually, okay, he gets the kill on both. He needs to be careful, because that's the Fliegerfaust team will snipe that Salamandra pretty quick.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, and the Leopard 2A1s have now been committed in Alpha here. Still trooping, and the Panzer Grins are getting back up to full health. So we're going to see a push probably into the other northern portion of Alpha's town. And it's looking really rough for Steve right now, Rang.
It is. It's going to really come down to his T-72s providing effective fire support. But, well, if they get close to his Leopard 2s, they are definitely going to be losing that battle.
Yeah, you definitely don't want your base T-72s engaging with Leopard 2A1s in any situation. But maybe CQC, they can obviously do some damage, but they're still probably going to lose the fight. Oh, the Panzergrins are going in. He's pushed back most of the infantry. All of Bahoda are dead. It's just up to the Czech Special Forces and the LSCRs. That's 30 Panzergrins with tank support, and I think Alpha's pretty much done for.
Yeah, he's pretty much bugged, and also with this Delta, with the Panzer Grenadier push, he should be able to pretty easily capture that as well. The T-72s are going to reverse into an ambush here. Recon Leopard, get in. Oh.
Yeah, and so it's just nice that the autoloader that with the T-72 is 40 points. It's got good. It's got 13, 11 frontal armor, and then 4 HE. It's just great for CQC. It's a shame he hasn't used them more in the match.
Yeah, definitely would have been much more cost effective earlier on. And yeah, we're seeing Alpha has turned very blue, and there's really just not a whole lot left in Charlie or Delta.
No, his front line's like completely open here. Like there's nothing left. It's everything's pretty much dead in Alpha. Oh, and then there's the game.
Yeah, it's the tap out, a pretty respectable 600 KD. But yeah, both sides went in hot at the start, but Grander is just a bit hotter.
Yeah, he also just exploited his success, right? Like Steve definitely played it a little more cautious and then reinforced failure by going back into India, which there was no way with the amount of stuff Grant had there. He was getting into that point anytime soon. He lost some units kind of trying to fiddle with it, lost his MiG-29 early. So it's just too many like big things in the first 5 minutes, I think just really hurt Steve Raptor from ever having a real shot of winning the match.
Yeah, he did have the terrain to be able to exploit Alpha, but he didn't have his units in the correct position or the correct units in that very important southern spot to fully exploit it.
Yeah, like a good point is that when he was going to go back into India, he had the 2 BMP-1s with the T-72 M1M. The M1M gets annihilated on the road. The BMP-1s say, never mind, I don't want that smoke, and they back up. Those were the first infantry units driving all the way from India back to his base, then all the way across the river to reinforce his initial deployment that had reached Alpha. So it's just too long. It just took it way too long to ever get his stuff together over Alpha, and by the time he tried to coalesce there, Grand was already counterattacking in force.
Yeah, it's very effective player from Grand. He builds up the forces up north and down south.
Grand came out there, got a big dub, 100 grand.
Or not Grand, who knows? Could be an all.
Very true. Very true, Ring.
But yeah, once again, Graham, thank you very much for joining.
Of course, thank you for having me.
And as usual, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please just take it easy.